Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. I'm Big B. So we got the big MHZ Bulgarian Catamaran on the freaking block, right? Today, we're actually going to go over basically 98% of the hardware that's going to be going into this build. We actually have a couple of choices that we need to make in the future, but we got some nice high-end parts here. Some new manufacturers that you may not be familiar with, right? I'll try to link everything in the description. I'll try. But we're just going to go over it today, right? Just introducing you guys to the build. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with the build, but now you actually see what we're putting in the boat, right? I've been waiting on this order from Australia to get here, and I'm actually waiting on one more rudder and a set of props, but everything else is pretty much here. Okay, so stick around, grab your popcorn and drink. Yeah, she's a beautiful boat, man. It looks rough because it's going to get a paint job. I'm working on the seam. I'm working on a bunch of blisters that were in the hull, getting it filled, doing a lot of hull work. So she looks a little rough right now, but it's part of it, right? It's just part of it. She's going to look a little rough before she looks better, right? The main ingredient to a good build is a good cup of coffee. And here's your slurp. All right, that's you gotta have that, right? So I really don't know where to start. We got so much stuff here. It's a lot going on, right? So I guess let's go over electronics real quick, and then we'll start here and then work our way all the way over here. Got a lot of like miscellaneous stuff over here that you guys may actually want to see, because there's actually some pretty cool stuff in a couple of these bags that you guys could probably freaking use, right? So electronics, we're actually going to be using this is not my build, by the way. This is for one of my viewers. I'm building this boat for a viewer, making a full build series. We're going to build the boat, tune the boat, and then we're sending it to them. Okay, WFly X9S. Okay, it's a nice transmitter. I'm very familiar with the interface, so it should be pretty straightforward and to get set up for Mino, which is the owner. So we got the WFly, that's our transmitter. We're going to be running a pair of 5670 TP power motors. This is a 785 kV. We will be running the boat on 12S. Okay, so we got two 5670s. That's basically, if I remember correctly, it's a 56 by 104, maybe 107. I could be wrong there. 104 in length. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and check it out, just so I know. 102 length. Okay, we're going to be using the new HOBBYWING SEAKING 300 amp. 5 to 14S. We have the QS8. This is the new version of the QS8. It'll actually handle up to 600 amps. So we got the new QS8s. Got some 8-gauge wire here, 8mm bullets, and the batteries. We're actually going to be using an SMC HCL-HVC pack. These things are boss. I got my personal best with the UL19 and a couple of boats with the 7700 milliamp 4S twins, right? So yeah, I'm excited about this. These batteries right here will actually charge up to 4.35 volts per cell. So we're going to run the boat on 12S high voltage. These 785 kV motors will handle it, right? So it's going to be a fast ass boat. Okay, so 785 kV, I figured we could run some 25, 15, 1745 ABC props. I'm almost done balancing these. 1745, 25, 15, which is like 63 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken. 62 millimeters, give or take. I also got a 26, 16, 1550. This has a little less rake than the 1745, a little larger in diameter with just a little bit more blade area, but I think I'm going to take some of the blade area down, right? So it's basically a 65mm prop. Okay, so I'm thinking those 2 sets of props right there will get this boat in the 100-mile-per-hour range. I know these props right here will do it. It's verified. I've seen a guy on YouTube get it with a similar KV on 12S. So, yeah, those are going to be great props. We also have a 4-blade prop coming. It's a 6717, the same prop that I want to actually try on my Ariane one day. So we have 3 different prop choices. So the owner of the boat, he didn't want to actually have to like change props out. He didn't want to have to put like a prop on, take the prop off. He wanted to be able to actually permanently mount the prop on the cable, pull the cable out when he wants to change props, put it back in, right? So we went with 3 sets of cables, 3 sets of props, okay? This is an 8mm MHZ cable system, 8mm to 1/4 inch stub for the prop. Came with a nice looking tapered drive dog prop nut with a 1/4 inch flex, counter rotating. Okay, so we got 2 sets already made, and I actually need to make a set. The MHZ drives came with stubs, so I just picked up an extra cable, and we will actually build our own cable with the 638 retaining compound. So little projects like this, I will actually make a separate video from the main build segment, right? Because this is something a lot of guys actually need to know about. So I'll do this in its own little video. So we have 3 sets of cables for this build. Okay, we're going to be running the cables in a 10mm OD stuffing tube with a Teflon liner. I figured a Teflon liner would give this thing a nice ring. It'll sound good. Nice, smooth sounding drive line, right? We got the MHZ bearing and oiler block, which is pretty similar to the TFL oiler bearing block. This one actually looks nicer. It looks like it's all one piece, whereas the TFL is a 2-piece. Could be wrong there, but it actually looks like it's all one piece. So it's nicely made, nicely cut, shielded bearing oiler with a stuffing tube mount, which actually is really nice. I like it. Yeah, that's going to look really good in the boat, especially with these nice CCFP motor mounts. Okay, so it's basically going to get mounted in something like this. We'll have to see how the boat likes it, if we're going to mount it like this or like this, but super nice MHZ for 1/4 inch cables. Okay, that bearing and stuffing tube mount actually came with this FLEXCABLE saver, right? It came with something. Yeah, anyway, I got 2. I think it was a whole kit. All 3 of these all come together, or you can buy them separately. This is a flex saver. You put it in between the collet and the stuffing tube. Basically right here, you clamp it onto your cable, and if your collet loosens up during the run, your cable won't slip out the boat. So that's nice security. We got 1 set, 1 for each cable. Okay. Speaking of collets, we got the MHZ German 775 collet. Okay, this is a ultra lightweight collet, aluminum, 775. I picked up 3. I've had pretty good luck with 775. I've also stripped out 775, or what I thought was 775. So I picked up a spare just so he would have it. Okay, but they're not counter. They're not like counter tightening or anything like that. Just same direction. German coupler. Like, it's real lightweight, so there's not a lot of rotational mass, right? One of the better couplers you could actually get your hands on right here. Okay. For water cooling, we actually have 4 singles or 2 quads, right? So we would run 4 pickups in the boat, period. I don't know if I want to go single quad, which would be easier, or 2 singles on each sponson, right? So, but these are like a MHZ. It's like a plastic composite type material that's pretty easy to sand and modify, so you can actually get it nice and flush to the bottom of your boat. It epoxies well, they said, and paints well. So we'll be the judge of that. Okay. For For the exits, I got these MHZ exits, pretty nice. Okay, really nice. Got 4 of them. And the coolant line, okay? Coolant line from Offshore Electrics, red 8mm coolant line. We got some sheets of 2, 3, and 0.5mm carbon fiber because we're going to be doing some custom work in here. MHZ ESC mount. Okay, I actually have 2 different methods of mounting our ESCs. Both of them are from MHZ. This is the center mounted. Let me get this top off. I wish the boat was closer. I could actually put some of this stuff in for you guys. But the next video with this boat will be finding our initial setup, putting everything together, and like getting the motor mounts epoxy together or just bolted to the motors, put everything in, batteries, the whole 9, so we can find where we're going to put our setup, find our center of gravity. So got a little off topic there. So we have 2 different ESC mounts here from MHZ. I went ahead and opened all the MHZ parts because they come in these plastic paper bags from MHZ, which I thought was pretty cool. Here in America, we typically get everything in plastic, so it was actually nice to get something packaged a little bit different. It comes in paper, which is environmentally friendly. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, so our ESC tray, we can mount the ESCs in the center, kind of like that, or we got these little stands here that get a battery strap, right? And you actually can mount your ESC on the side of the boat, right? Just forward of the motor. So that's something we need to decide on too. We'll mount our ESC here or here. If we mount it center, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to make an extension for our wire, which with these low kV motors, it's okay. Running extensions on high kV motors, now that's a different story, right? But yeah, so yeah, and you see how high the ESC would be up off the deck. That's kind of a high center line, high CG. So I was actually thinking that we could cut out the perfect square or rectangle for this ESC to go in, and we could recess it. We could recess the ESC and double side tape the ESC to the deck, right? And then make us a top plate to hold the ESC down, right? Maybe not even use straps at all. Just recess it, double side tape it. It'll be captured in the tight fitting block or mount, and then we can make us a top plate out of carbon fiber to go over both of them. A nice cool little design, right? And use these standoffs right here to mount the top plate to keep the ESCs in place. So that's something I'm thinking about doing. Super nice mounting tray. He wanted a couple more. He wanted to actually have one more option, but the options that I seen at MHZ, they were either too small or too wide for the ESCs and the center tunnel section. So I think this will actually work. So we actually have top side support from the motor mounts, one on each side, right? We'll have top side support with the servo mount. This will get mounted right there, right? So the servo mount actually came with this cutout for a 5th scale servo, and you actually have to find a low profile 5th scale servo to fit in this place. So I was having I guess we did find one, but I figured we would go with a standard size 74 kilogram AFGRC servo. This servo right here is an absolute monster of a servo, and I think it will be perfect for this boat. I really do. The 5th scale servo was like 100 kilograms, so this one's 75, and I had to make a new plate. Right, it's got tape on it still. trying to protect everything. I gotta epoxy it together, but it actually turned out pretty nice, right? I'm gonna make like these little nut plates on the back so the servo gets bolted right in. I actually slipped my mind. I should have already made that. I was trying to knock out some stuff while I was waiting for all the parts, you know, because we couldn't really do anything until we got everything in. We can set the boat up, find the center of gravity, and then we could start really working on what the setup, right? So yeah. The servo mount. Okay, so let's kind of let's talk about these battery trays right here. They're beautiful, right? I had CCFP actually cut out the honeycomb to conserve a little bit of weight, add a little bit of character to the boat, and it actually turned out pretty nice. Now, these things were expensive. This CCFP order right here, I just got it in today, and it was a major portion of the boat's budget. I'm talking major portion, and I'm kind of pissed off with the guy. I mean, I'm pretty laid back, and I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But so it come with a little package of nuts, and you know, these standoffs right here, the nuts and bolts, and I was putting everything together for this video. I put the standoffs on, right, because I wanted to show you guys how it moved, slid, and then locked in place, right? But the guy didn't include the nuts. He didn't include the nuts to lock it. He actually also included two different screws. He's got a square bolt and a regular bolt. The square bolt don't have any way to tighten, and this one, I mean, it's two completely different bolts. No nuts. So that kind of I mean, this was an expensive tray. I asked him specifically, does it come with hardware? Yes, and I get the wrong stuff, so I'm kind of pissed, right? The main reason we ordered from CCFP was for these 6mm motor mounts for the 56 series motor. The motor mounts look outstanding. I mean, they're gorgeous. The trays are gorgeous. Just didn't send all the hardware. But it's two 3mm pieces of carbon fiber. Okay, 6mm thick. It'll get epoxied in here, all the way around, all the way up to here. So this whole section will be holding these motors into place. So we're really going to have to focus on getting these things put in the boat, right? But they're super nice. We got our servo horn from CCFP, right? This servo horn wasn't cheap. You guys think Oxtein Marine is expensive? Hell no. Go look at CCFP. This guy's crazy. And he didn't even give us the grub screws for the cable. Oh yeah, a cable. We didn't get the cable. We got the hydraulics, right? I got one partially assembled here for you. No cable for the pull setup. So I'm kind of, you could probably hear it in my voice. But the hydraulics, they look good. They look really good. They're actually smaller than the MHZ hydraulics. Now, the reason I ordered these hydraulics from CCFP is because the MHZ hydraulics are dummy hydraulics, right? So this actually gets mounted on the top side of the rudder, and then the cable gets mounted on the underside of the rudder arm, and this is just for show, for looks. This is your main pull cable from MHZ, and you know, the owner didn't really like that. I agree. I didn't really care for it either. I didn't know they were dummy. I just kind of ordered the rudder blade kit for this boat from MHZ, and it was dummy. So we ordered from CCFP, right? So I got to get a cable. We'll retain the cable in the actual hydraulic arm here, or post. And I guess we'll go on with our life, but it should have come with it, right? The CCFP rudder looks amazing. I mean, there is some like light scuffs and scratches on the blade. And also, check this out. Brand spanking new rudder. Look at this scratch right here. I'm pissed. So before you even say anything, no, I didn't use a knife to open the rudder up. I pulled it right out the package. It was packaged in this plastic right here, and I basically just pulled it right out. Half of the top of the rudder was sticking out the top of the package like this, so I just pulled it right out the bag. Original tape, everything, you know? So it wasn't me. I know for a damn fact. I literally just got it. That's why I'm kind of irate, just like learning about all this as I took apart the package. But it's a nice looking rudder. The blade's super thick. Doubt you'll ever break that. Much thicker than the MHZ. Okay. It's got a nice billet scale look to it, because that's what a real catamaran rudder looks like, just like that. This piece right here, the rudder arm itself, is double capture. Can you guys see that? And it actually looks like it's replaceable, which is great. It didn't come with hardware. It didn't come with the bolts that bolted onto the hull. Everything else I got. MHZ included all the mounting hardware, drives, everything had mounting hardware. This did not. Didn't come with mounting hardware for the horn. You know, it just kind of pisses me off, man. So we have one more rudder coming, because he wanted to pick which one he wanted, and I can't say that I blame him. We wanted to actually see if any of these were cross-referenced, like the bolt pattern mounting it onto the hull, if they would actually cross-reference with one another. As of right now, the CCFP versus the MHZ definitely will not. Right off the bat, I can tell you that. The drives. We have two different drives. We have the CCFP drive or the MHZ drive. Okay, so the CCFP drives, they're longer, as you can notice that right off the bat, right? They're much longer. It's a 3-piece barrel design. Okay, and it's not adjustable. You cannot adjust the CCFP drives. Like right here, it should like pivot, right? The MHZ drives, they are adjustable. You can tune these drives, okay? The gearbox, it has like a nice stuffing box here. It's got like a little O-ring. When you take this off, it goes through the hull. It's actually a nice looking setup, right? Fully adjustable. It's got the pedestal that mounts under the overhang here, which the CCFP drives actually have the overhang mount as well. But the CCFP drive, since it is an extended drive, actually has this block that gets mounted on the transom. These drives right here are supposed to be made for this boat. You have to actually center this up on the transom, and there's actually a little overhang on top, a little overhang on the bottom, but they will work. The only thing I dislike about these CCFP drives is the fact that they are not adjustable, like none. This is a tight fit, and literally no adjustability, right? If there is adjustability, very minute. And if you do adjust it, you're actually going to put some pressure on the mounting points on the back of the sponson. The 3 bolts that hold this in. Nice. I mean, it's super nice. It has the pedestal. I mean, you could actually run this shorter. You could cut this off and run the barrel under the overhang if you wanted to, with some highly modifications. But I kind of think these drives right here, they came with the hull, right? They kind of came with the boat. And Mino and myself, we really don't I mean, we like them. They look amazing. I like the length. But what the hell's the point of having length on a drive if you can't adjust the damn thing, right? So that's just me. I know what half of you guys are probably typing it right now. Oh, these European boats, they don't use trim. You use the hydro and aerodynamics. Use the design of the hull to keep the boat down. You run a neutral drive position. Yeah, I get it. I freaking get it. But who wouldn't like to have a little bit of trim adjustability, right? I mean, come on. I don't have... The only boat that I have that I cannot adjust my drive is the mini dom. Right? I guess you can adjust the drive if you wanted to. You can elongate. I'm getting off topic. I like adjustability. I like to be able to tune a boat, and I'm sure the owner of the boat would like that too. So we went over the motors. We went over the ESCs, the batteries. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna fit on there good. Yep. Okay. And okay, so I got the battery tray here. This is actually a pretty cool, I got a bunch of straps from MHZ. I got enough straps for this build to match, everything match, right? So this is a pretty cool battery tray right here. I know the video is probably getting super long. So this is an MHZ tray, battery tray. I guess you could use it for whatever the heck you wanted to, but it's pretty neat, right? So what the way I think these trays right here work is you would put a piece of Velcro on your battery, put a piece of Velcro in between this carbon fiber tray, right? Piece of Velcro here, piece of Velcro on the battery. Put your battery Velcroed in, and then you have a secondary method of strapping down the pack, right? So you got it Velcroed to the hull, and you're actually strapping it down with the carbon fiber rail style battery tray, which I think is pretty neat. You know, you really have to get this thing epoxied into the boat, hence the reason they put all these epoxy damn holes there, which I like this. And I don't know if we'll be able to use it in this boat. We were thinking if we mount the ESCs like over here, we possibly could put a battery tray in the middle. Not sure yet, but he did want me to kind of get this, so we have options, right? So it's pretty cool. They're actually really cheap. Comes with the straps. Everything's included with the MHZ stuff. Oh. Okay, so I got these standoffs here for our ESC mounting. We got some standoffs for that. I got some extensions for our servo ESC or whatnot if we need it. Antenna mount from Offshore Electrics, and some brand new antenna tubes because I reused mine. So I didn't have any nice tubes, so I had to get them some. I actually had to get a container of bolts here. It was actually pretty cheap. I think it was like 20 bucks on eBay. And because I reuse all my nuts and bolts, so I had to get some new ones for his build. He sent me this. This is some extreme. This is good stuff. Probably like locally sourced. This is probably the best double side tape you can locally source, right? The Scotch mount, double side mounting tape. It's good stuff. Like online, eBay or Amazon, this Scotch brand 3M tape is the best. Oh, it smells good, man. It smells really good. So we got this for mounting electronics and this and that. So 2 different types. Both of them are really good. Like I said, this is good stuff, sourced locally. So this is an XHF marine heat shrink, okay? This stuff here, it has an adhesive inside. It's like it seals up the connection on your solder, right? So this is good stuff. I'll put a link in the description. I have 2 different sizes there. Got a thing of Velcro. I think that's for some other project that we have going on. And this is XL. I think it's 1/8 inch foam. Okay, so the reason we have this is to actually cut out a gasket around the hatch opening, a 1-piece gasket. Okay, I've already done it. Just not exactly sure how I want to mount it in the boat yet, like the adhesive wise, because it's not adhesive backed. It's just a piece of foam, and you could cut out a 1-piece foam gasket, or you know, just strip it out and use the strips in your boat, right? So like I said, I'll try to put a link. This is some good stuff. It's got a nice feel to it, you know. It should work extremely well for our boats. He uses it on his sailboats and wanted to turn me on to it, so it's good stuff. Got some more fasteners here, and I guess the last thing I'll show you is the little radio box. Okay, so it does. Okay, so it does have holes in the bottom to mount it. I was thinking for some reason the Offshore Electrics radio box didn't have mounting holes. I guess it does. So if you double side tape this down, just seal up those holes, right? If you're not actually screwing it into the hole, which you could use like a little standoff, like let's see, where did it go? You can mount this on a standoff on one of these, right? Get you a standoff, epoxy the standoff in the boat, and then mount your box on the standoff, or just double side tape it down. Boom, 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 you're ready to go. It's kind of like a Traxxas knockoff, but I figured it would be a good waterproof solution for this boat, right? So that's the build. That's the build. Like I said, I'm waiting on one more rudder with the hydraulics, so we could compare hydraulics from 3 different companies, 3 different rudders, and the prop. And that's pretty much it, man. We got everything here. I'm about to start this build. As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to put all this back on the table where in all of its boxes, and I'm actually about to start assembling these things and start working on setup video, right? So it's actually a couple days later, and I just didn't feel like leaving you guys hanging without showing you the epoxy and all the little odds and ends that goes into a build, right? I've actually been working on setup, working on finding a good CG. Got the ESC tray, got the nut plates kind of epoxied together here. So I've been working, I've been busy. I also got the TFL rudder in. This is the main reason I'm making this little segment to finish up the video. So this is the MHZ CCFP and the TFL. Okay, TFL come with everything needed, all the pull cables, the hydraulics. So here's a shot of the hydraulics, the size difference of the CCFP and the TFL. CCFP is a little longer. I like the CCFP hydraulics better, to be honest with you. These are work. The dummy MHZ cable, I went in and I found my stainless steel cable for the pull for the CCFP, so that's good. I found that. Straight rudder blade, these have a taper. These actually look like they're the same thickness, the TFL and the CCFP. Kind of the same blade profile. This one's a little bit wider, a little bit longer, a little thinner. The CCFP is the most scale. It has the best scale appearance, right? TFL looks pretty ironclad. It's got some nice beefy rudder arms. Okay, also replaceable. Okay, so real quick, I'll go over this stuff. This is what I'm using to actually fill in some of the blisters in the hull. Just figured I'd show you guys that. The Evercoat lightweight. Use this 3-inch carbon fiber seam tape around the hatch opening to kind of beef that up. We have the black resin dye. We'll be using this throughout the build. It's a pearlescent pigment powder. 5-minute Zap epoxy. This stuff's awesome. It literally cures in 5 minutes. Only epoxy I've ever seen cure in 5 minutes or less. Not even kidding. When it's warm, it cures quicker. So you gotta work fast. My tried and true Venom carbon epoxy resin. I love that stuff. I use it for all my boats. Pour foam, polyurethane pour foam. We're gonna dam it off here, like I mentioned earlier, and pour the tips and the center section here. We'll probably end up dyeing it black. You can do that. The 638 Loctite for retaining the flex cables and pull. You got to have your CA thin. And I wanted to show you guys this. This is T-Rex tape, super glue tape. It works really good. You can actually see where I had it stuck on this and I peeled it off. But you actually use this real thin super glue tape right here. It's very strong, and you can mount your hardware on your boat while you're like working and trying to get the boat set up. You can pull it off and it'll actually stick back on there. So that stuff's pretty good. I need to get some more. So yep, we'll see you guys next time. I just wanted to kind of show you guys this TFL rudder since I had mentioned it earlier with everything that comes with it, right? So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.